Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. My name is Adam Mariancho. Today is August 25th, Sunday, 5:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you know what time it is. You know exactly what's going to happen. If you clicked on this video, it's another draft. Let us begin. Okay, here we go. We are on Underdog where we normally draft. I think I'm going to be doing some random I think the next live stream I do, I probably shouldn't say that, but one of these upcoming live streams, I think I'm going to do an ESPN, a sleeper, and a like fantasy pros draft all like at the same time because there's going to be like a lot of auto shit, and I'll do them in like consecutively or something, but I will mix it up. I will mix it up before the week is over. Anyways, today I'm going to be hopping into a marathon draft where I think you are really doing yourself a favor to jump in this. Granted, I don't really want you to because I don't want this thing to fill. I really don't, because at the moment there's just over 70,000 entries. It's not even 50% full, and they guarantee 23,000 people get the full prizes that they planned on. So if you finish top 23,000, you double your entry. You get at least $30. If you finish top 5,000, it jumps to 45. It really doesn't get into like high payouts over $1,000 until you're top 100, but you don't have to worry about advancing to the playoff rounds. You're already into the playoffs in this format. So the odds that you make money are higher in this one than any other one, and it's only $15. So it's the cheapest tournament you can hop into at the moment on Underdog. So that's what we're going to be doing, the marathon today. If you want to join me, excuse me, I'm on a little delay. Hit that button right now, and I will be joining you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let us go. 2 spots left. 2 more spots. If you want to join the marathon, you can join me. Now 1 spot. Now it is full. So too late. If you're just getting to the video, I have pick 11, and it could be better, but we can always make it work. I will figure it out. But exciting stuff will be underway pretty shortly. And yeah, the odds of making money on this are pretty solid compared to other ones. Let's see. There's 71,000. So 23 divided by 71. 32% chance. If you finish top 4 now, you got to finish top 4. You will double your money. So on other ones, you got to finish top 2 just to like get your money back. This is not bad. Not bad at all. Obviously, there's going to be more people jumping in. I feel like the number's probably going to be closer to like finishing top 3 by the time the season starts. But that's not the end of the world either. Let's see. I if another 20,000 people enter this tournament, then you have to finish top 3. So there's wiggle room. It's not bad. Definitely some decent odds. Anyways, we see CMC, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Breece Hall, Ja'Marr Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and running back is important. I don't want to get completely behind at the running back position on this in this tournament, in the marathon. I think it's good to have a balanced roster if you can. But Breece goes pick 4. Jefferson falls to 8. If I can get Garrett Wilson, I'll take him. But if not, I'll just pivot to Jahmyr Gibbs. Interesting to see Taylor go above Gibbs in this format. think there's a little higher upside with Gibbs. Obviously, a little less injury concern with Taylor, but I'm going to go with Gibbs. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs. They go Saquon. Fuck it. Let's go double running back. Let's go Jonathan Taylor. Let's do it. Don't take double running back that often. Running back's a little more valuable in this setting, as we've already seen Breece Hall go at 4, Saquon 13. I'll do it. I'll be the guy that goes double running back. Derrick Henry, 15. Wow. Wow. Okay. Didn't expect that at all. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat. Feel free to comment on the draft or ask me about your teams, preferences for drafting, whatever you want. But it's a good Sunday afternoon. Hope you're enjoying your weekend wherever you are. This is a interesting room. We see Marvin Harrison 16, Devon Achane 17, Devontae Adams goes to the team at 7. Good values at receiver still on the board. We see Drake London falling several picks already. And I feel like he'll continue to fall. But feel pretty good with this Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor start. But I will be pivoting to receiver. I plan to be pivoting to receiver. A reminder, this is the marathon draft. So I think that is the reason why we see running back so much more valued in this lobby. But after Adams, Debo, Kyren Williams, Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans, Drake London still on the board. Have not seen London this cheap in a long time. Will he go 23? Yep, there he goes. So kind of a unique combo. Not sure if it's as unique in this setting, but definitely something you don't see every day. Drake London, Nico Collins at the end of round 2. Good value. I'd still prefer Nico Collins, though. Personally, my rankings have Nico one spot above Drake London. In another tier, though. Definitely a different tier. But Waddle comes off 25th. And so far, it's mostly pretty balanced. There's a few teams with only one, with 2 receivers, no running back. I'm the only team with 2 running backs. And we'll see what happens. But I would love to see receiver not come off the board like crazy over these next 8 picks, something like that. Something like that. But today I was recording earlier. I think I'll be posting that either this evening or in the morning tomorrow. New video. I'm going to be updating my win-loss picks for the season. I posted my win-loss predictions back in late May, early June when the schedule came out. And obviously that was a very raw, fresh take on how the season's going to go. Now that there's been some injuries, a few trades, a few acquisitions, like the Falcons picking up those defensive players, for instance, what we saw in the preseason as well, I feel like it's appropriate to adjust and reassess. I will be updating those win-loss predictions over the next 24 hours. I hope you take a look at that. If you don't want to miss out, then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and ring the notification bell, and you'll know whenever I have new content, whenever I go live, all that stuff. I'm sure you've heard it plenty of times on YouTube, but anyways, after Waddle, we see Chris Olave, Travis Etienne, Isaiah Pacheco, DK Metcalf, Sam Laporta at pick 30, DJ Moore, Josh Allen, Josh Jacobs, and one more team until my pick. I'll be on the clock in a little moment. Oh, wow. I really hope he is. Let's go. Happy with this. Give me Brandon Ayuk for sure as my wide receiver 1. Kind of the main reason I went Taylor there is because I honestly feel like the best receiver in round 2 is Ayuk. I'm in that camp, ecstatic to take him here. And I will get another ride or die player for me, my highest ranked at the position. Give me Tank Dell. We took 2 running backs out the gate. I think I need to pivot to the receiver spot where we need to start 3 every week. Give me Ayuk and give me Tank Dell. Let's fucking go. Good team so far. Feel pretty good about it, especially knowing that Joe Mixon just went at the top of the 4th round. Holy shit. I would say, other than Team 4, who has Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, I have the best running back room for sure. I would say Team 4, I prefer that combo. Just a little bit, not by a wide margin, but obviously having Ayuk and Dell. We'll see who he goes with as his wide receiver 2, but with Cooper Kupp, there are trade-offs to be made. But I don't see much of a difference between Pacheco and Taylor or Gibbs. I prefer Taylor and Gibbs. I took them there for a reason. But I think Breece is better than both of them, and I don't think the gap between Taylor and Pacheco is as big as the gap between Gibbs and Breece Hall. But they get T. Higgins. Team 4 is pretty solid. I like Team 4. Otherwise, there's no team that, like, I'm extremely envious of. They're all pretty solid, but given how coveted running back has been, I think Team 4 is in a very good spot. Anyways, after Tank Dell, we see Joe Mixon, Rashad White, Stephon Diggs falls to 41, followed by Rashee Rice, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, T. Higgins, Amari Cooper, Travis Kelce goes at pick 47. So the team at 6, high price tag on Laporta. Wonder how far tight end would have fallen if they passed on Laporta. Because Kelce goes 47, McBride 48. And we're going to see where these other tight ends go. That team at 5 might stack up Lamar and Andrews. We'll see. Maybe the team at 8 with Allen gets Kincaid. But so far, we're in pretty good shape. Would love it if I could get, like, obviously Pacheco's off the board, so I can't get him. But if I get Anthony Richardson at 59, I can probably get Jake Ferguson, pick 83. And I would have 4 of my top 5 ride or die players on this roster. I'd be really fucking happy about that. We'll see. Don't want to jinx it, but definitely a scenario where that happens. As expected, Mark Andrews goes 53 to the team with Lamar. I think I'd rather have Andrews stacked up with Lamar than Flowers. Flowers feels like more of the floor play. Andrews feels like that swing for the fence. Andrews could realistically be the tight end 1 this season. Wouldn't put it past him. I expect this team to go Kincaid. They have Josh Allen. Will they get kinky? Nope, they go Christian Kirk. Not the pick I would have made. All right, so this is really interesting. I really hope I get Kincaid here because the team after me already has a quarterback. I can pass on Richardson, still get him. Nope, it doesn't work out like that. But I'm gonna take George Pickens. Falling here to pick 59, really good value, definitely the best receiver in my opinion on the board. And I really doubt that this team is going to grab another quarterback when they already have Jalen Hurts. I will just take Pickens. He goes Kittle. And Godwin. So works out. Give me Anthony Richardson. Maybe not the most essential stack, but paired up with Jonathan Taylor, we are getting every single rushing touchdown in the Colts offense. That is worth something. Going to be a very good offense this year. I'll take it. But Gary saying, I just traded Tank Dell to get Brandon Ayuk. My other wide receivers are Wilson, Debo, and DK in a full PPR, 2 wide receivers and 2 flexes. What do you think? Obviously, pairing up Ayuk with Debo, it can really work out, but it also kind of like caps some of your upside because there are going to be some weeks where one goes off, the other doesn't. And obviously at this point, I think you're pot committed. You're never going to be benching one or the other. And if you do, you run the risk of benching the wrong one. So it's not bad. I think it's fine. But I think in full PPR, I would have honestly considered giving up Debo to get Ayuk instead. I know you're, I'm pretty sure you've been on the channel for a long time. And if I recall, you are a Niners fan. So it's nice to have that if I am correct about that. Forgive me if I'm mistaking you with someone else, but I think for the sake of like not being so invested in San Francisco, I would have probably tried to give up Debo and maybe get a piece as well as Ayuk. I think that would have been possible. So I think that's maybe how I would have preferred to go about the trade, but it's not bad. Obviously, I still have Debo ranked above Tank Dell, so I think it's perfectly fine. And when you have a full PPR league with 2 wide receivers, 2 flexes, you have the opportunity to start 4 every week. That's usually what you want to be doing, unless you get like Raheem Mostert off of the waiver wire, like last year was possible to get that. Then it's pretty much always the way that you prefer to go, having those 4 receivers in your starting lineup. And you are a Niners fan, so at least you get to feel better about your team every week. You get to root for it more. I think that's fine, but personally, I would have tried to avoid the double Niners receiver situation. I would have tried to give up Debo or DK for Brandon Ayuk and kept Tank Dell and added another piece, like maybe a backup tight end, a backup running back, secured a little depth at that position. But, you know, sometimes you can say that's what I'd rather have done, and that's just not a trade that the other person would have accepted. So you get the deal done. I think it's fine. But yeah, that's the only thing that like pops out to me. Your upside is a little capped with both Niners receivers in your lineup every week. One of them will go off, the other usually will be a little more capped. You might have some weeks where both are like fucking awesome, but there might be a week where Debo scores 3 touchdowns and Ayuk has like 40 yards and no touchdown, you know? That's not ideal. Anyways, CJ Stroud goes off after I take Richardson, followed by Calvin Ridley, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, Dave Montgomery, James Conner, Kyle Pitts, Evan Ingram, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Jaden Reed, Deontay Johnson, Raheem Mostert, Christian Watson. So I think I made the right move grabbing Taylor at pick 14, grabbing those 2 running backs, because I got pretty good values at receiver in my opinion, especially with Ayuk there at 35 and Pickens at 59. And then I got the last quarterback in the elite tier that I really covet, and there's been a bit of a run on that position since then. So feel good about my team so far. I would have loved Jake Ferguson. He just goes off the board here at pick 80. So I'm a little bit behind at tight end. We can still figure it out. I'm not too worried about it. I will take Brian Thomas or Ladd McConkey, if not both, around this turn. Ramondre Stevenson goes. So I have Thomas ranked above McConkey. I'm going to take Brian Thomas and lock up some depth at receiver. Let's do that. Team 12 goes Aaron Jones and Ladd McConkey. So I really wanted Ladd there. Would have been my preference. I don't really want to reach on Brock Bowers, but I'm going to queue him up just in case I don't really go with anyone else. Zamir White is really the only like running back I'm like trying to get here. Everyone else is in a different tier. I'm just going to take Bowers. We're investing in Las Vegas either way, and I feel a little more excited about Bowers. I worry about the pass catching prowess of Zamir really hurting him for fantasy. I don't expect him to have a full 3-down role. He could play well, but I think they're going to be trailing, and the game script is not really going to benefit Zamir White. So if he really loses out on that role on 3rd down, he could get screwed in the second half of games, and I just don't see like a shit ton of touchdowns available for the Raiders. So kind of a reach on Bowers, but tight end has been a little bit more coveted as of late. Like it really fell early on, and then once Kincaid was off the board, people kind of clamored to get their tight ends. So I'm just going to take Bowers here, and hopefully it works out. But Gary says, I agree with you on double Niners. I'm concerned with the contract issue also. That's always a potential risk. I'm kind of operating like that's just not going to happen. I really don't think it will. But yeah, that is potentially the scenario that will occur. So decent to acquire Ayuk on the cheap. If he were to get traded to Pittsburgh, then you really would be in a worse situation, and then Debo would be elite. So I guess there's a slight mitigation of that risk, but I just don't think that trade's going to happen. I really don't. But anyways, you're welcome, Gary. Hope it helped. After Bowers, we see Cortland Sutton, Jordan Addison, Tony Pollard, Jordan Love unstacked, but Hollywood Brown to the team with Mahomes. And Worthy. Team with Mahomes has a decent stack going. They're also setting themselves up for a Jared Goff stack. They have Amon-Ra and Laporta. But then we see Chase Brown, Javonte Williams, and Dak Prescott. Running back is drying up. Maybe I should have gone Zamir White there, but I think from an upside standpoint, I'd rather have Bowers if I'm investing in the Raiders offense. I think that's the situation I'd rather bet on. Jonathan Brooks is tempting, but in this format where you know he's going to miss some weeks, he does lose value because it's not about his upside in weeks 15, 16, 17 anymore. You really have to factor in the points you lose at the beginning of the season when you draft Jonathan Brooks. So justifiably, he falls not that far past ADP, where he would be going in a different format. We just see him off the board 97. But yeah, I think closer to pick 100 or after on Brooks in this marathon league is a lot more appropriate. By far. Anyways, after Jonathan Brooks, we see DeAndre Hopkins, Brian Robinson. Caleb Williams, pick 100. And what am I going to be looking at running back? That's definitely a position I need to hit soon. And, I like Jerome Ford. His value is higher in this format. I'd also be comfortable with Zach Moss. Maybe even Jaylen Warren. But Warren doesn't appear to be ready for week 1. 5 days ago, the injury was downplayed by the coach, but recent reports say he might not be ready by week 1. I'd be a little worried that his injury comes back, but Jaylen Warren does have a lot of upside. He goes at 103 to the team with Najee Harris. So not going to get Jaylen Warren at a value, but I think in round 9, that's not a bad pick at all. Jaylen's decent. But Njoku, pick 104. I would have liked to take Njoku here at 107. We do not get that opportunity. The team after me has Jalen Hurts and a pretty heavy Eagles stack. So if I want Goddard, I would have to take him here. But I don't think I'm going to take Goddard. I think I'm going to pass on Dallas Goedert. They only have 2 running backs, so I'm going to grab Zach Moss, and I'm going to let the chips fall on that other pick. Going to go Zach Moss. High upside if he can outperform Chase Brown. I still think he has the goal line role in this offense. So I'm going to take him. And then this is going to be between Josh Palmer and Jerome Ford. This next pick is between the two. I could also go Goddard. I could also do that, but with the Jahan Dotson trade, I don't think it's as valuable as it once was. So I think I'm going to pass on Goddard. And receiver does fall off a cliff here. I've got good running backs already. I'm going to go Josh Palmer. Keep it balanced. Instead of double tapping running back around this turn, I will just grab my 5th receiver. I got to start 3 every week. So with some boom bust risk regarding George Pickens and Tank Dell, a little bit of risk with Brian Thomas as a rookie, could start a little slow. High upside with Brian Thomas, but extremely high floor with Josh Palmer. And there is a world where he scores like 8, 10 plus touchdowns. He's the number 1 receiver potentially for Justin Herbert. I wanted Ladd at pick 86. I got sniped on him, so I settled for Palmer at 110. And he's cheaper. He's in the same category. That's fine. I think that's fine. It's probably the safer approach because I'm sure when I get to pick 131, I'm going to hate the names at receiver that are still on the board. And if I had to take one as my number 5 guy, I'd be a lot less comfortable than who I can probably still get at running back as my 4th guy. Because Palmer has a lot likelier path to my starting lineup in the flex spot than Jerome Ford would, given I can only start 2 running backs. I guess max 3 per week. I can start max 4 receivers every week. So that is my decision. But Goddard goes right after 111. I was considering Goddard, but passed. Trevor Lawrence 112. I believe he's unstacked. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence goes unstacked to the team with Jaden Daniels. Then we see Devin Singletary, Gus Edwards. Tua goes to an unstacked team. I don't understand the Tua pick. That team was definitely setting themselves up for Jared Goff. I'd rather just take Goff straight up over Tua. I do not understand Team 6 decision at 115 to go Tua. Jared Goff goes 2 picks later. I think they messed up. They have Amon-Ra and they have Sam Laporta. Weird decision, if you ask me. But Jerome Ford, Jared Goff, Jakobi Meyers. And given I drafted Bowers, I'm really hoping Jakobi Meyers gets relegated to like a ancillary role. There's also a world where Adams gets traded, and that opens up a shit ton of volume at receiver and tight end. There is a world where Bowers fucking dominates. I'm not like in love with Bowers, but there was some really solid usage for him in the preseason all over the field, even lining up in the backfield. He did that in college. He scored several rushing touchdowns in college. Like, let's pull up Bowers' college stats real quick. In college, he ran the ball only 19 times, but 10 yards per carry is pretty impressive for a tight end, no less. And 5 rushing touchdowns, 3 in his sophomore season in 15 games. His sophomore season was pretty fucking awesome. 15 games, 63 catches, 9 rush attempts, a total of 1,051 yards from scrimmage, 10 touchdowns. He scored 14 touchdowns as a freshman. And although his numbers are not exactly as eye-popping in his junior year, you also have to keep in mind he played 5 fewer games. So he actually put up more yards on a per-game basis as a junior, although the season-long stats are not as high as his first 2 years. Bowers was elite in college. Really elite. So hopefully he lives up to expectation. I kind of reached on him, but I think it was the right decision. Need some flexibility in this roster. I got sniped on Jake Ferguson at pick 80. I really wanted Jake Ferguson, but didn't get him. After Jakobi Meyers, we see Nick Chubb, 119, followed by Gabe Davis, Dalton Schultz. Does that team have a tight end already? They have Trey McBride. No CJ Stroud, so okay. But Rico Dowdle, Tyler Lockett, Rashid Shaheed, Blake Corum, Austin Eckler, Dontavian Wicks falls to 127. Really good price on Dontavian Wicks to the team with Jordan Love. Followed by Jerry Jeudy, Ezekiel Elliott. One more pick, and then we're on the clock right after. But you go Trey Benson. I think I'm going to take J.K. Dobbins. The team after me also only has three running backs, and I do have Dobbins ranked the highest here. Algiers really interesting, but what are the odds that Bijan actually goes down? There's a world where Dobbins is a true league winner. I'm going to take J.K. Dobbins. So we could have gone with Jerome Ford. That would have been my pick instead of Josh Palmer. But instead, we would have been looking at Brandon Cooks, Mike Williams, or A.D. Mitchell here. And that's not ideal. So I think I made the right decision going with Palmer previously. I would have liked A.D. Mitchell to stack up with Richardson. I don't get him. That's kind of a bummer. But I think I might go Justin Herbert or Pat Freiermuth. If I take Herbert, I can probably call it done at quarterback. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stack up Herbert with Josh Palmer and hope that he's healthy. I think he's going to be fine. I think it's safe to bet that Herbert plays all 17 games this year. He's out of the walking boot, has been for like a week now. And he still has 2 weeks until the first week of the season. He might not run it as much, but I think he's a very safe pick, going a little later than he should. I'd prefer Herbert over Tua. I'd prefer him over Lawrence. I would prefer Goff over Herbert, but there's no other quarterback left available that I would rather have than Justin Herbert. And he does stack up with not only Palmer, but also J.K. Dobbins. Technically, Dobbins can catch passes, although that's not exactly what he was brought in to do. But Gus Edwards doesn't catch passes. So if one of them is going to catch passes, it would be a Mr. J.K. Dobbins. I think the team is pretty solid. The tight end situation, we'll see how it sorts itself out. But running back is pretty solid. We got Gibbs, we got Taylor, Zach Moss, and J.K. Dobbins. Quarterback is pretty solid. We got Richardson and Herbert. Richardson would have stacked with A.D. Mitchell, but didn't get the opportunity. He is stacked up with Jonathan Taylor for whatever that's worth. Taylor could catch passes. He's not like the biggest pass catcher in the NFL at running back, but he can do it. We'll see what happens this season. But wide receiver, despite waiting until round 3, I think it is looking decent. It could be better, but it's not bad. I got Brandon Ayuk, Tank Dell, George Pickens, Brian Thomas, and Josh Palmer. Pretty good. I'm probably going to need 8 total receivers on this team. So that's one of the benefits of taking Justin Herbert there. I could have gone with Mike Williams or Darnell Mooney for some upside, but it's probably not the end of the world. Now I'm at least locked into only 2 quarterbacks, and that is valuable to do. So, solid team so far. A little worried about tight end depth, but I think it'll sort itself out. Anyways, after Herbert, we see Jalen Polk, Mike Williams, Matthew Stafford, T.J. Hockenson. Early on TJ in this setting, you do not get the benefit of a 1-week playoff structure. So all of the bagels that TJ Hockenson gives you in the early part of the season, in the marathon, don't help you. But obviously he has like massive upside once he does get back on the field. Hockenson could be a top 3 tight end when healthy. Then we see Pat Freiermuth. I almost took Freiermuth at 134. He goes 139. Then Darnell Mooney, 140, followed by Ty Chandler, Cole Kmet, Kirk Cousins. And that's the team with Drake London. Drake London went 23 in this draft. Kind of shocking to really think about. But Xavier Legette, 144. Jalen Wright, Zach Charbonnet. Mr. Charbonnet. Charbonnet. I keep going back and forth on Charbonnet this season. Like, I used to really like him. I thought he was a great pick. Then there were some reports that made me concerned that his third down role is kind of going to disappear this season. Kenneth Walker. I don't know why I said Rashad. Kenneth Walker has been getting some high praise lately and touted as a good pass catcher, 3-down guy. So kind of going to mitigate Charbonnet's path to success. His floor play viability has kind of left him. But obviously, if Walker were to go down, Charbonnet has top 12 upside. So can't dismiss him. You could still be taking him in the same vein as Blake Corum. Albeit, I'd probably rather have Corum. Better offense if he is the starter. But that entire tier is kind of the same to me. I think I'm going to go with Algier. I have no desire to take Adam Thielen here. And this is a pretty big discount on Algier's price. 13 picks past ADP. The team after me only has 3 running backs, so let's take him. If Bijan does miss time, Algier is a top 10 running back, so in the same vein as Charbonnet and Corum, but supposedly going to have a pretty solid role this season. They have been talking him up so far, but I'm going to shoot for some upside at tight end. I know I'm going to take 3, so let's grab Isaiah Likely. If Mark Andrews gets hurt, Likely's a fucking gem, can put up 11 plus points per game. And there's a world where he is the number 3 target in this offense from week 1. Likely could be very valuable on his own. I think he did earn more of a role last season, but I have passed on receiver for quite a while. We're going to have to get back to that position. I definitely need 8 receivers on this team, but I have 4 picks left. I think I'm done at running back. I think I'm done at quarterback. I think it's strictly wide receiver, tight end the rest of the way because we have 5 solid running backs. Got Gibbs, Taylor, Zach Moss, J.K. Dobbins, and Algier. Some high upside with everyone. And obviously, like, elite floors with Gibbs and Taylor. Quarterback's definitely done. Receiver, I need 3 more, and I only have 4 picks. So, yeah, we're going to take a third tight end and 3 more receivers the rest of the way. That's exciting. We're done at running back, and I feel like it's a pretty good group. Like, you can't tell me that Braylon Allen is, like, that much different than Algier. So, this guy reached on Braylon Allen. We get Algier at a full round discount. I'm happy with it. But it's kind of interesting to see that like Ricky Pearsall still has not like drastically fallen in the ADP. His injuries this training camp, this offseason, kind of concern me. Like even if Ayuk does get traded, like obviously they would need him. He would get on the field, but Jacob Cohen looked pretty solid in the preseason and is kind of underrated. I worry that Pearsall's in like a big committee in terms of that number 2 receiver. Like he's going to have to compete with Juwan Jennings and Cohen quite a bit. Obviously, he's always going to be behind Kittle and Debo if Ayuk does leave, and I don't think Ayuk is going anywhere. So there's like very limited path to success. I know the upside is really high, but I would have expected Pearsall to kind of fall in the ADP a little bit more over the course of time with his injury concerns. But he doesn't really. Like he's consistently been going in the 13th, 14th round for a while. Third pick of the 14th is not that different than like at his height in ADP he was kind of going like pick 140 or so. So it is 19 spots, but there's a world he gives you literally like 0 points this season. You could absolutely get burned by drafting Pearsall. Anyways, we see Tyler Conklin at 162. After Pearsall, it's Quentin Johnston, Jaleel McLaughlin, Conklin, Aaron Rodgers, Geno Smith, Wandale, Antonio Gibson, Ray Davis, Bo Nix. Kind of high on Bo Nix, but okay. I think he's equally as valuable as Rodgers, so I get it. Jermaine Burton, Hunter Henry, Jalen Tolbert, Demarcus Robinson, and Noah Fant. People really want to fade Brandon Cooks, don't they? Like Tolbert has gone so high up the board in the last like several weeks. And once Lamb is back on the field, like there's probably very little playing time for Tolbert anyways. Like it's really just people's hatred of drafting Brandon Cooks. I think that's really all it is. Really tired of him. But Demarcus Robinson, Noah Fant, Rashad Bateman, Will Levis, Khalil Herbert, Cade Otton. And we're strictly wide receiver tight end. I'm going to go Ben Sinnott. This team only has 1 tight end, and Senate, has so much upside, especially after they traded Jahan Dotson. I was already starting to like regret not drafting Senate a lot earlier. And then after that Jahan Dotson trade, it's like, oh God, I really need to pick up my exposure to him. I was a little late on the Senate bandwagon, and I think I've gotten back up to like at least 7 or not, if not 8% at this point, but I've taken him so much over the last 2 weeks. There's a world where McMillan really plays well, but I think I'm going to go Yoshivis. Joe Burrow has been talking up Yoshi. I'll take him. So it's strictly wide receiver for me the rest of the way. And I'll try to get a little unique with it. I might go with like Whittington. I could always take DJ Chark to stack up with Justin Herbert, but I can also go with Tim Patrick, De'Ami Brown. I do not want to take Roman Wilson. I've taken a lot of Malachi Corley when he was a lot cheaper, or more expensive than what he is now. So I've been fading Corley a lot. I have kind of too much of him. But you never know what value we'll get coming back around. I'd be comfortable with any two of these 5 players. I might only get one. Let's hope for the best. But I used to think, when he came to the league, I used to think that Andre Yoshivas' name was pronounced Eosivas. And Yoshi's definitely a better nickname than Eosivas, the Civ. Yeah, I might, I might try to keep that nickname going, Mister Eosivas. But Luke McCaffrey, Marshawn Lloyd, Sam Darnold, Marvin Mims, Jordan Mason. It's hard to like gauge who's the next most valuable receiver in Denver, honestly. Like, Sutton is the top guy, but even that isn't that valuable. Like, he needs a shit ton of touchdowns to be viable, and odds are he maxes out at like 6 this year. There's no way he scores 10 again. I would be shocked if that happened. But it feels like Marvin Mims is the obvious 2, but that doesn't seem like a lock anymore. It seems like he's been fading down the depth chart. There's a chance he's not only behind Tim Patrick, but also Josh Reynolds as the number 4 guy. And then obviously there's Dulcich there too, and Troy Franklin. But Franklin appears to be like a complete non-factor. According to reports, like, Franklin is really not ready. And Mims was a big bust last year. I could see him kind of being more of just a special teams contributor for the second year in a row. So Mims is risky as fuck. I feel like it's almost wiser to just take Tim Patrick because so few teams were drafting Tim Patrick all season long. You get that unique aspect of it. And Mims was just so heavily drafted. He doesn't offer like that much value. Even if you get him like 10, 15 picks past ADP, you can argue he should be going undrafted. I think it's really risky to bet on any of the Broncos receivers other than Sutton. Even Sutton doesn't make me feel great, but that's kind of what makes me feel like Dulcich offers the most value beyond Sutton, just because like it's tight end. The bar is so low, and even if you get like 5 points, that could still be a top 12 tight end any given week. Obviously, if you get a touchdown, you're in good shape at tight end, but you can get 10 points at receiver and still not be a top 50 guy at the position. Their receiver's just so fucking deep and loaded at the position. The bar is much higher. So if I'm not getting Tim Patrick for the sake of being unique, and even then I don't really want to pivot that much to Josh Reynolds, I kind of just don't want to take any other Broncos receiver if it's not Sutton at like a good value. But even Sutton doesn't feel like a great pick, in my opinion. It's going to be every week the ball is spread around. Like, you know how Mahomes gets like 10 different players involved sometimes? Like, I could see Bo Nix do that as well. Not to the caliber of Mahomes. Like, Mahomes will get 10 guys involved and throw for like 350 sometimes. Bo Nix will get 10 players involved and throw for like 230. And nobody gives you anything if they're not finding the end zone. So it's a risky bet in Denver for sure. Not going to be that relevant this season in a typical redraft week-long setting, season-long setting. I don't think I want any other Bronco. But we do see Dulcich come off the board. And I'm very tempted to go with Justin Fields, but I know I'm getting so much rushing value from Anthony Richardson already. I don't think it's that critical. And Justin Fields obviously going to be benched to start the season. It doesn't really matter that much, but I don't think I need him at all. I think I need the 8 receivers more than that. So I'm going to go with Jordan Whittington. Maybe he never does anything. Maybe it is really the Demarcus Robinson show as the number 3, but Whittington has looked really good in the preseason, and I have not taken him very much. I've taken so much Demarcus Robinson. Allow me to mix it up and hope for the best there. But I'm back on the clock, and we're strictly looking at receiver. I could go Malik Washington. Actually, I'm going to go Brendan Rice. Let's go Brendan Rice and shake it up at receiver. Instead of DJ Chark, who's currently injured, let's go with Brendan Rice for the Justin Herbert stack. Could have gone Malik Washington there, but I think it's better for my team to grab a Chargers receiver, and I'm going to pass on Chark. Hope that the rookie Brendan Rice can offer some upside. So a lot of rookies on this team. I've got none at running back, but I do have Brian Thomas. I've got Jordan Whittington. I got Brandon Rice. At tight end, I've got Brock Bowers and Benson Sennett. So I've got, what is that, like 6 rookies? I guess it's 5. But a lot of youth as well. Tank Dell, George Pickens. Palmer's still relatively young. Yoshivas in year 2. Likely's in year 3. And at running back, no one is that old either. Zach Moss would be the oldest guy at running back. And then QB, Richardson in year 2. I got a lot of youth on this team. Pretty solid. Just a reminder, the full roster at quarterback, I got Richardson and Justin Herbert. Richardson is unstacked if you don't count Jonathan Taylor. Herbert double stacked with Palmer and Brandon Rice. Running back, though, I got Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss, J.K. Dobbins, Tyler Algier. Wide receiver is Brandon Ayuk, Tank Dell, George Pickens, Brian Thomas, Josh Palmer, Andre Yoshivas, Jordan Whittington, Brendan Rice, tight end Brock Bowers, Bowers Likely, and Sinnott. Those are the players I took in this draft. And that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button for me and the like button as well. But hope you had fun on the live stream. Go ahead and check out my channel for player takes, rankings, all that stuff. And in the next 24 hours, I will be updating all of my win-loss picks on the season. So look out for that. Ring the notification bell if you don't want to miss out. Or the next time I have any content or go live. That's the way to do that, to avoid missing new content. Anyways, my name's Adam Riancho. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday and excellent week moving forward. It's almost draft time. Cannot fucking wait. The Subscriber League auction draft will be live streamed Thursday night at 8:15 Pacific time, Thursday, August 29th. Mark your calendars. It's going to be very fun. I personally can't wait. But that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Goodbye.